Hello, hello, good morning. Oh, I need to fix my label there. We are not doing Cigar Smuggler today. Let's see, where did I put that? On. Alright, we're going to work on something I've had a couple of different iterations on called What the Prompt. And my original idea for this was I wanted to make a little app that would help teach kids how to prompt. But what it's sort of evolved into right now is it's now a tool to clean up prompts. And where I'm trying to go with it is I've been adding a whole bunch of just different uh, effects and polish to it. Um, I've been trying to get this into a place where it looks clean and is easy to use, and I just am trying to just finish polishing it up so that I can add the last of the features. But today, I don't know how today's stream is going to go because it's just going to be a lot of tweaking. Um, I haven't been able to get this design where I want it to be yet, and I'm close. But I need to finish. I need to fix these buttons. I don't like that they don't have any color to them. You know, let's see what Lovable will do with this. Because what I'd like to get to is, let me go back into what the prompt. I'm in a different branch, so let's see here. Well, the thing that I'm trying to figure out is what happens if I move these buttons into this area. All right, sorry. There's things in here that are driving me nuts. Let's close this out and let's see if we can just tighten up some of this CSS here because it's, I don't know why Lovable. Oh my god, why can't I drag that out of the way? I don't know why Lovable keeps breaking my UI. So let's go into the settings. I just got to find the settings. Where's the settings? Actually, there's so many different things I want to fix right now. So we're just going to go through and do this as I work through it. Top hooks. All right, we don't need to worry about the hooks. The pages for the settings page. I feel like this added something here that the other ones don't have. Maybe, let me see here. I'm just trying to figure out on these other pages what they do. Not found. No wonder, that's the wrong one. This is just using a wrapper around the prompt form card. Where do they put these cards? Oh, did I lose my chats? Hold on a second here. Let me open up my chat window so if anyone actually wants to talk, I can see what they're saying. All right. Sorry, I'm just cleaning up all these windows and everything that I have on my other monitor. All right, back to this. What I wanted to see was, I'm trying to, I got to organize this because the code, it's just generating out like tons of code. And there's no rhyme or reason to it, and I really want this to be a lot cleaner. So, this is a card. And I wanted to see if the card had any, well, I guess this is it. All right, so let me go in and try this for a second. Let's see if we can wrap this settings panel with the same card. All right, that did fix the spacing. See how it just stretched out there? I don't know why Lovable decided it felt like just making up a different thing. Let me go here. I want to see what happens if I get rid of this P6. All right, so that's the inner padding. let me go back here, and I want to go to the index page, and I want to get the index working similar. Let's do, whoops, we want to close this card. Oh, I see why. It added the close already up here. Thanks, I don't need that there. I want this here. And we just need to import this card in. So I want to see on the settings. All right, so now I put this inside of another card. So let's get rid of this div. Whoops. All right, and then in the prompt form, let's go to where it's generating out. It's, all right, so it's using this card already. So we don't need the card twice, and that's what's giving me that double thing. So, okay, now that's a little bit better. I really don't know what's causing this jumping, but that's something I think I might have to have Lovable look into, because I don't know what it did when it built that. All right, the next thing I want to do is I want to clean up the settings panel. These settings were, oh, actually, let's just do this. Let's do git add all, git commit, fixing index and setting page layout to use card. I'm just going to keep pushing this stuff back up to Lovable. This way I can keep everything sort of in sync as I go along. The other thing that I wanted to figure out, so let's go back to the settings page. There are 3 different settings, and each one of them is completely different. So modal settings, visual data management. Where's the API key though? I assume that's in here. Yeah, all right. So we'll go into this here, and we're going to clean up this HTML because it just looks like garbage. Where is this Gemini? I'm trying to see where it uses this this other label. Well, luckily, because this app is so small, I can get a little bit more space back here. All right, so let's see here. What I need to do now is so I'm trying to fix my Windows. There we go. Sure. Whoops, that didn't do what I wanted to do. I'm ordering a new. I ordered a new monitor because this monitor is breaking on me, and I am so looking forward to having a higher resolution. All right, so what I want to do is let's go through here and make this more consistent looking. So use I don't know what I want to label this just yet, but yeah, this whole thing is really sort of a hodgepodge of weirdness. I want to go back and I want to make the thing that I don't like is that this doesn't have a all these pages aren't consistent. Like if we go here to prompt history, well, actually, I don't even, I see what I'm doing here. I don't need this settings because we're on the settings. So we'll get rid of this. And then I think what I want to do is I think I want to just go back and just make this use the Gemini API key because it's cheap and free. So let's just do use Gemini. And then Gemini or browser-based model. Well, actually, what I did want to keep. Oh my God! I'm like, my brain isn't working. I wanted to keep between LM Studio. Use external model. Oh wait, that's not what I wanted to do. Use external model. Actually, we can do it this way. Use API key. This will be a lot clearer now. Choose between browser-based or API key models. And then here, we don't need this label. And if we switch to this, what I actually should do is it should toggle it here. So let's see what I need to do in order to get this working. So if I look at this, here's the switch. This text here should be that API. So I wonder what happens if I move this here. And we make this, I'm just going to mess around with this for a second. Browser. Oh, I see what Lovable did. It put like browser on one side and API key on the other. And then it switches between that. That's interesting. So browser, API key. I think what I'd rather have it do is I'd rather have it just switch. I think this is redundant. We don't need this here. A big part of what I try to do, at least with this design work, is I just want it to be, I'm trying to figure out what I can remove. And I'm trying to, a lot of times like I'll add as much as I can in, and then I go back and I want to strip out all the stuff that I don't think works until I get this whittled down. Like right now, this prompt editor used to have like a ton of stuff in it. And I've really condensed it down now to the point of where it's very clean. You can you hide all the I basically hide all the settings you don't really need to know about, and all this stuff is now. I do want to get rid of this stuff. All right, we'll come back to that in a minute. Let's focus on this settings. So, all right, so use API key. Choose between browser-based or API key models. Then, when we select a model, if it's use API engine, it's going to give us this thing, which I think is just here. That should be all of this. Whoop, that's going to break. It doesn't like that, huh? All right, so this right here is the model selector that we need to go in and figure out. The other one is using browser-based model directly in your browser without API keys. Performance depends. And then when I switch over to this, to the browser-based model, it doesn't. it's weird. It gives me this warning here, but then I don't know where it's showing the use small CPU only model. Where is this text being generated? API key input. All right. Just trying to see where this text is. All right, so alert variant space P Y 2. Will that give me some padding? There we go. 8 4. All right, browser-based model. Using browser-based models that run directly in your browser with that API key. Performance depends on your device capabilities. What I need to do is I need to have Lovable work on this info alert, and this info alert needs to actually be renamed because this is a stupid name for it. Because if I'm not mistaken, model status downloading. Model is downloading using small CPU model. All right, alert description. Whoops, I didn't get the quote. I'm just trying to see what some of these things do, but there's like so many. Wait, maybe. I see. This is going to be just the styling for in here, but I feel like it's already like that. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to rename this symbol, and we're going to call this WASM status. We'll do this way. Web model status. All right, browser model status. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I need to tell Lovable what to actually edit because it broke a whole bunch of stuff, and I needed to fix this. So let me rename this, and we're going to call this browser model status, and we'll fix those links, data management, model settings, API configuration, and model selector. So let me switch back over. This might actually crash my whole browser because it's not displaying all the logic yet for the WASM LLM. Basically, I'm using a library to let me run LLMs in the browser, but they're very small models, and they require something called what is it? It's WebGPU, not WebGL. It's WebGPU, and it can offload the calculations from the LLM or the inferencing from the LLM onto the local browser, onto the user's GPU if they have support for it. And I think what I'm really trying to get to is this place where I give you 3 options to use this tool. And you can either use it with Google Gemini, which gives you a really, it gives you like a good amount of credits each day for free, especially if you're just doing this on your own. So that's like a really good version, a good thing to use. If you want to do something more advanced, I'm going to get rid of this OpenAI. I'm just going to make it to LM Studio. And then this way you can run it locally. And then we'll get rid of OpenAI. In fact, let me just go look for that. Well, it's in here somewhere. Model settings. Wait, let me do this here. In this model, select browser model status. To do. Need to add support for showing model status when and loading bar. All right, that'll be our note for later. Now, if we go to the model selector, where are the different model names? Where's the model coming from? Yeah, let's get rid of OpenAI. And now we'll just have Gemini and local. We'll have Gemini and LM Studio. And we don't need. We can do Gemini or LM. I think I want to, so then, all right, so you can now switch between these two, which is good. What I don't understand is why is this not giving me a warning? See, there's something wrong with the way that this is. Here, clear the API keys and endpoints. All right. I didn't want to delete. Well, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Delete keys and endpoints. And now if I come here, right, configure API. So, so when you come to the program, it'll tell you to configure the API. What I want to do is I want to add a little bit of text here. Modal settings. Where's... All right, so use these settings to pick the right model for your use case. Gemini is a default. Now, I don't know if I want the text there. Maybe I'll think about how I want to handle instructions in this app. So choose between browser-based or API model keys. Oh, it deleted the warning. Oh my God, it like screwed up so much stuff. I really can't stand the way that Lovable just like breaks stuff without even giving you an option to address it. Using, depends on, I'm just trying to get a sense of this Gemini API key. What is this div? Is that this section? All right, that's the whole thing. Model selector. All right. Let's see, where's the border? Yeah, like it adds like a whole bunch of styles and things that don't really need to happen, that we don't really need. Use the API key. We don't need this border. I don't think we need this. Well, I guess that justify center, fine. All right, so what I want to focus on is I'm just trying to see where these messages exist. API configuration. All right, we don't need that anymore because we're not going to use that. I'm just trying to think of if it makes sense to actually just make this a drop down and put the browser based one in there. We'll come back to that. LM Studio endpoints. So if we come here to LM Studio, this one says read the LM Studio endpoint doc. Fine. And then the endpoint URL is required for this model. Which is, oops, I deleted too much. Which is, oops, oh my God. Oh my, I keep hitting the wrong key, and that's making a huge difference in what breaks and what doesn't break. All right, so this warning, if not configured, needs to display. So now we come here to Gemini, and there is no API key is missing or required for this model. All right, I think that finally just reset it. So API key is required for this model. LM Studio endpoint URL is required for this model. We go back to Gemini. All right, so what I want to do is I want to get rid of this wrapper around this stupid thing. All right, that was the, yeah, I can get rid of this div maybe. I don't need rounded, I don't need this, I don't need the muted. I don't even need this title here. This stuff is like so redundant. All right. I think it's this M3 and P4 is what's causing it to be indented. There we go. So much cleaner now. So now when you switch between these, it gives you it gives you the inputs correctly. And let's go down now to where else in the settings was I? I want to fix this animation settings, which didn't even do anything. It's supposed to turn off all this animations and effects and stuff, but it hasn't. But that's fine. All right, so we come here. It needs to, I wonder if I switch this to LM Studio, come here and then hard refresh. Yeah, it's gonna be stuck at LM Studio, but that's fine. Okay, we click here, it'll come to here so I can get a copy of my key and paste it in. If we test it, it's valid and saved. Your key looks valid. And if we go back to the prompt editor, we should see the Gemini API here. And then that goes away. All right, we'll leave this instructions for get your API key from there. What I want to look for now is this, well, let's, LM Studio, Gemini. Git status, git add, all, git commit, yeah, git commit m, cleaning up API picker. All right, there's one other thing I noticed that I feel like I broke here. P2, PY2. I was trying to see where there's a gap here for this select API name. Oh my God, where did my mouse go? Oh, I'm modifying something I shouldn't be modifying. I think I'm modifying this thing right down here. Right? PY8. We'll add padding between that where I don't want it. See if we make the gap 1. That doesn't seem to affect anything. like, I wonder, like, it adds all these Tailwind styles, but they don't seem to do much of anything. I guess at some point I'll have to go through and clean this up. Technically what I want to do is I should condense these things. So when this endpoint here should be reflected here. So endpoint did not respond. Handle pending. What is that weird testing and there was like double when you test this testing API key. So there's another, is there another place where it's just providing that text? So weird. I really don't know what it's done here. Get your API key. All right, so what I really want is I want this out of here, and I want it in here. I'm just trying to get a sense of where this makes the most sense to display. Yeah, but here you're not going to see this. All right, let's just go back here and we'll do this. We'll leave the testing here. API key looks valid. Success, test message. What is calling this class? So we have API configuration. Let's see where it's being used. I was trying to find the source of that text because it was like testing. I want to actually do something here. Let me get LM Studio up and running. And I want to see if here's LM Studio. Let's go to developer. Let me go and I think this one's running local, so I should be able to test this out here. Cannot reach endpoint. I think it's because I need this v1 completes thing / v1 completions. All right, this will need a little bit more work. We test this. Oh my God, I got to find this testing API key thing. It's going to drive me nuts if I don't find it. Hey, good morning, Major Mayhem. What are we doing today? This is a little tool that I've been writing to help developers clean up their prompts. So when they're doing vibe coding, they can put their prompt in here. It'll clean it up and give you back a better prompt. I don't have that part of it wired up yet. But what I'm trying to do is just get it to where it will, where it just doesn't look like garbage. And I'm trying to just clean up a lot of the design and the UI stuff. So I have a good chunk of logic and features built in. What I'm trying to get it to now is a point to where I can wrap up a lot of this UI stuff and then finish up the functionality of the app. But I'm trying to undo a lot of stuff that Lovable has broken for me. So I'm just sort of pecking at where these things are. The the thing I was actually looking for was testing API. Oh, well, looking for API is not going to work. Let me test this again. Testing API key. Testing API key. There we go. Found you. So there's this thing here for handle API. So where the hell was I before? Model settings. Testing. All right, let me remember this file here. We'll pin this guy, and then we need to find this testing. And then we'll come here. So let's see here. This thing doesn't need, because if I'm not mistaken, it gives me this test message here. So this is redundant. Fail. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm just going to do this test here. Testing API key. API key looks valid. Great. If I break this now and I test it, wait, how is that valid? Oh my God. There's another bigger issue here where I'm running. I don't have a correct state machine. So when I make changes to the API key, it's still somehow remembered by the app, and it doesn't actually correct itself. Also, what I'm noticing that I want to do here also is I need to, we should just make a list of, well, I'll just keep track of to-dos. Is this where LM Studio, I want to see, where's that input field? Yeah, this is the API key input. What I wanted to do, end input, fine. All right, it's got to be in here, so we'll just make a note. To do, add a I to show / hide icon. And then the other thing, well, you know what? Honestly, the better place for me to do this, instead of these to-dos in here, let me go back to GitHub. I'll just start. I don't remember if this project I started using your repositories. Let's see here. Do I already have issues? Oh, good. No, I haven't filed any issues yet. Okay. I'm going to start putting, since we're getting, my goal was to launch this by the end of the month, and I shouldn't have much problem doing that. It's just a lot of, it's that like last 10% part. So I'm going to start filing these issues that I need to do here so that I can keep track of all this and not forget. So the biggest thing is remembering state. There are multiple issues with saving and restoring data in the app via local storage. API key changes do not take effect. What else was there? The other issue that I had was restoring text in editor doesn't always work, and I need to create a debug view that shows me everything in local storage. All right, so I'll do this as a issue. We're going to file this as a bug, and we're going to create this. The next thing that I wanted to do was, let me go and create a new issue. Oh, I need to add an I button to the API key field. The API key field is masking the API, so need a way to show/hide the contents. That one's a pretty straightforward one. Bug, and we'll keep creating more. Now there was something else I saw over here that I wanted to fix. Oh, this is a big one that I need to do. I need to fix Markdown parsing. The prompt editor is not correctly parsing Markdown. Need to correctly implement editor's Markdown parser, and also ensure copying prompt doesn't include formatting. One of the things I wanted to do is when you go through and sort of oh, it is actually using the right. It's telling me that the API key doesn't work anymore. Which, all right, we should just do a little fix here for that. I also want to make sure that even though you can like format these things and bold them and stuff, that getting formatting, especially like Markdown formatting for a prompt, just is like a waste of characters. So I want to make sure it's always being stripped out when you copy it out. This is a bug. Let's create another one. I just noticed if API key, if API key changes or fails, tag is not reflected. Update. Enter a valid key, then change it and run clean. Get a toast warning that the key is not valid, but the editor is still showing the Gemini API label. Let me close this. I'm just going to make this window a little smaller so that I can take a better screenshot. Whoops. No. Oh man, cannot select things today. All right. Whatever. All right, let's add this to the picture. Let's make sure it got the right picture. All right. It's weird. When the app loads up, it needs to make a call to the API endpoint to make sure that it is still valid. So leverage test. So leverage the test, but make sure that the app does not overcall the API with lots of refreshes. Ideal state is that once a key is verified, it's good, but if a warning shows up, that the key is bad or didn't work. Update the label, the editor label to reflect a bad key. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of just state management stuff I need to fix, which is not the most fun part of building an app, that's for sure. All right, failed to process key pass not valid. Fine. Settings. Let's go back into cleaning up the settings stuff. So what I'm looking for now is this visual effects. One, I don't even know why it's not wired up. And two, we don't need this label. This is just redundant. Where is this visual effects? I think it's used here, right? Yeah. So why don't we do this? We'll do visual effects settings here. And then in this modal, where was the div? This was the wrapper that it used. So let's go into here, back into visual settings, and then we're going to change this to add a little bit more spacing between them. All right, so at least this is now considerate. And this consistent. I wonder if I can just get rid of this altogether. Yeah, that looks a lot cleaner. And then the select API model. Now that I want to leave. I'm just taking a look at this and trying to figure out what I want to do. Also, this use API key, there's too much padding on it. There we go. All right. And then get your API key. This needs padding at the bottom of it, which I think was the model selector. Select an API model. Yeah, let's see if I just make this div wrapper. Oops, that broke. I did not like that idea, huh? I think that's more because of this justify between. And let's get rid of all this. All I really want is the padding below it. No, it's in the test actually, so this is the wrong place for that. Where is the get your API key? Get your API key. PB4. We'll make this 8 to give it a little bit more space between that and the, well, PB4. What I really wish, and I guess this is more on me than anything else, is like I needed to make groups of like it's just driving me nuts that it's not consistent. The styling is not consistent across the app, and this is something that I need to go in, because to me what really should happen is that you have a wrapper for a field. The field has a certain amount of padding, great. Each item has a certain amount of padding, and all the padding is the same, and then I can go back and if I want to tweak it, I can tweak it in the Tailwind settings, not all this like inline code. So that's something that needs to be addressed. Auto save cleaned prompts. So where's this one too? This auto saved clean prompts clear all API keys and endpoints. I don't like. It's amazing that it put this here. And in visual effects, this should be the. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put this in with the model management. Where does this test show up? This is data management. Where was the stuff for the model? Model settings. This input should go here at the end. Autosave and check. Oh, I need to bring over all that stuff, huh? There's an autosave here. Ugh, I hate having to do all this stuff by hand is annoying. Model settings. Basically what needs to happen now is I just need to route all of these. This original input field had this autosave at the top, and this needs to come into this class. So where is the class itself? Model settings. So here we have model settings, and what was I looking for? I believe it was autosave. So I need to copy over autosave as a constant here. There's an autosave key that we need too. Actually, while I do this, I'm just going to get rid of these here. There's a use effect with this autosave key. And we can get rid of this now. Whoops. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong key, as always. All right, and then now, down here, we don't need this anymore. And we should have this auto save here. I don't know if this is actually wired up to do anything, but that's a problem for a different day or moment, I guess. All right, so what I want to do now is I just want to get this to, this is what the input field should look like. So I'm going to copy this. Let's reformat it. And we're going to call this, oh my God, get out of my way. We're just going to call this autosave prompts. Oh, cool. Why am I putting that using, oh, I'm putting this in the wrong place, aren't I? Oh, that was, I see what I did wrong. That was not what I wanted. What I wanted was, there's another input field around here somewhere. API configure. Where is this toggle for this use API key? Use API key. Switch, justify. All right, this is the component right here. So now we do this. There we go. That's what I wanted. So I want auto save prompts, and this will use local storage to automatically change, whoops, save changes in editor between sessions. Oh, well, good. I'm glad it actually did that and wrapped around. That saves me some more CSS that I didn't want to do. And then here we'll put this switch here, and we're good to go. All right, so now we have the animated effects, we have the use API key, we have auto-save prompts, and then we have this data management stuff. And then what I want to do with the data management stuff is where's this padding coming from? That padding is coming from there. Confirm, clear all history. What I want to get rid of is, all right, I don't need this redundant label. What I want to do though is I want to fix why this stuff is floating to the left. Ugh, I knew this thing's stupid. All right, and will this change the text color? No, I'm not that lucky. All right, so now what we have is, at least this is a little bit cleaner looking. It's not perfect, but I don't really, I'm not here for perfect right now. I'm here for it not being like unfavorited. I don't want this to just look like garbage. So, okay, we got that. There's nothing, no prompts found. The API key is not working. So if we do this, it looks, wait. All right, the API key test doesn't work. Putting any value into the API key and hitting test says it works, but getting warnings in the editor, it's broken. This needs to be fixed. All right. The other thing that I want to do is need to display templates. Settings? Why did my mouse lock up? Look into saving templates. Look into displaying templates in the settings to make it easier for users to edit them or revert. So right now that UI is we'll call this an enhancement. Right now, if you go into the prompt editor and you want to take a look at, if you go into more, it gives you each of these different templates, which I need to update. And each one of these templates, although I might wind up just keeping it in here just to keep things more, I don't want to, I hate having redundant API where like, there's no reason to have it here and in the settings, but I'll take a look at where that's the most useful. It may just be something like I just add these back to the editor. All right, I want to get rid of this because this does not need to be here. Again, redundant. The only other thing I would say about that is that maybe no, this is all here, so there's no reason for this to be there. I don't know why it did this. I'm just trying to make sure there's no errors. Details. Wait, that's not what I wanted. All right, good. It's not throwing any errors. Just removing that was fine. All right. Now let's do this. Clear. Git add all. Git status. Git commit. Cleaning up settings. Page settings, layout, and removing redundant counter. All right, pushing all that changes back. Now let's see if there's any other small changes that can be made here. I want to tie the background animation, background color change triggered before reload. Before cleaning. The background color change is tied to the clear button, not the action of returning a clean up prompt. Only run the animation when the prompt is returned. All right, this is a bug. And while we're here, simplify background, simplify background effects. The background color change is using shapes and particles. You can't see behind the card, the page card, so remove them and just keep the color change with mask. Labels, this is a enhancement, and we're going to create that. That one I think should be relatively easy. I'm pretty sure I can go in. Let's close some of these things here. So I have a lot of tabs open in a very small space. So I'm going to try to shrink this a little bit, but I'm sure it's more of my settings is the problem. So I usually have the text a little bit bigger so you can see it while I'm running this. I just want to see where the there's a background animation in here somewhere. Canvas background. What is this referencing? Canvas background. You are referencing the use canvas background. So here, this ripple circle we don't need. Let's disable this and see what happens. All right, so it's still working. All right, that's fine. so this at least is like, we don't need all this extra fancy animation stuff when it's going to be hidden. Page fill, good, good. All this other stuff looks good. And we're good to go. All right, let me lower my desk and then get back to work. All right, so, all right, we've cleaned up that. I can actually go close that that bug. That was an easy one to fix. Let me go here back to GitHub issues and remembering state. This is number 8, right? Number 8. So what we can do here is we can do git add all, git commit, simplifying background animation, issue number 8. And that, I think if I do this, it should close it out. Or it references it at least. Like if I go into code and I go to 8 and I look at the last commit, which I don't even remember where it is. Cleaning up layout. That's a different one. Oh, I don't think I pushed it. This is all local. Git push all. All right, well, either way, whenever you have an issue on GitHub, you can always use a pound and the number, and then you can associate it with that ticket. What do I want to do next in here? I'm just trying to look for some like low-hanging fruit that I can fix. All right, all this stuff looks good. Clear the APIs and endpoints. Let's reload this up. We have no API. We go to configure it. Great. Let me go to Google Studio. I will copy this API key. We'll paste this in here. Test it. It looks like a valid key, even though this is a bullshit test. Let's get rid of that. And now, tell me a story, a short story. It'll clean it, and there we go. So, and if we save this, the prompt has been saved. If we refresh, we're good to go, and we now have our prompt here. So I think the next thing that I want to do is I actually want to get the editing working. And that I'm going to pass off to Lovable because I don't feel like dealing with it. I want you to refactor the code in the prompt history card to route the edit button back to the editor. If the user, when the user presses edit, it should copy the prompt contents over to the editor to work on it. I think the real question though is when you go to edit it, when the user saves the prompt, it should go I don't know what it should do when you save it. It might just make a new copy of it. I don't want to do an inline editor because now if you go in here and you start editing it, you're also going to want all this token information. I think this is the, you know, I think going back to simplification, I think what we should just do is just let you copy this prompt and not edit it. And if you want to start a new prompt, you should change this edit button to like a clone or something like that. Over the editor. If I do the code, so I'm just trying to think through this flow here. You're here, you go to your prompting, you get this, and you want to now edit it. I think to simplify this, the best thing, honestly, to do is to just turn the edit button into a copy button. Refactor the prompt history card to replace the edit icon with a copy icon and use the same logic on the prompt editor to copy the prompt into the user's clipboard. That it might get stuck on because it may not understand that I want it to use, I want this function and this function to be the same. But I think this is sort of where I want to be with this, is that if you want to change a previous prompt, you just need to copy it and go to the prompt editor and start a new prompt. Because I don't want this, I really didn't want this to be like there's not a lot of time where I feel like you'd go back to using previous prompts. This is really more of a tool just to, hey, you have a prompt, clean it up, and I'm going to move on with my life. But let's see. Well, that works. What I want to do is, all right, there's other things that are like, I don't understand. Oh my God, I don't get why it deletes whole pieces of functionality. Restore prompt search. On the history, is it the same thing in the favorites page? Need to restore the prompt search bar and order sorting button with pop-up options to change from A to Z, Z to A, latest, newest. Wait, is newest, newest, oldest. Newest, oldest. Assign it to myself. This is a bug. Let's come back to Lovable and see what it has done. All right, so technically, if I copy this and I paste it here, it should have removed some of that formatting. Because if I copy it here and repaste it in, it should look the same. But let me see this. If I do bold and italic and H4 and H5, which don't work, H1 through 4 in editor do not work. These buttons don't work, but they should probably just be removed. Heading, bold, italic, quote. Saved replies. You know, it should be the same. Buttons don't work, but should mirror how GitHub's issue editor works with a single H and parse out any different H's when processing the Probably a problem. Oh my god, already tired. Is it the day over yet? Let's create this issue, and we'll go back here. Let me go back to these issues, and I'm just going to start doing some broad strokes here to get some of this stuff back in, especially this, which I knew existed before. All right, we got to fix these buttons. I can't stand this button animation. Fix button animation to keep fix button animation. Oops. When clicking on a top nav button, the animation needs to be removed because it's creating a jarring or a shifting effect. All right. Whoops, did not spell that right. All right, search prompts, fine. Oh, it actually did this correctly now. Great. Let's add this. All right. Let me do another. Tell me about New York. Okay. There was an issue right there. Need live update for nav numbers. When saving a prompt or favoriting one, the numbers in the top nav don't auto increment. These updates should happen without needing a full page refresh. Ugh, why did I lose? What was the last thing we did? All right, we added in the sorting, fine. All right, I actually want to get it to fix this bug. We'll create it, but When saving or deleting a prompt or favorited one, the number in the top nav. Oh my god, I do not know how to write today. Doesn't auto increment. These updates should happen without needing a full page refresh. All right, let's have it work on that. I'm going to go look into other issues that exist right now. And also just confirm that it hasn't created new ones for me. This is weird formatting. This isn't... Let me copy this out. Markdown. All right, I see what it did. All right, so if we favorite, we remove, we delete one. Oh my God, it doesn't warn you to delete. Wait, why are they two of these same bugs? All right, this has been closed. We'll just reuse this bug and we'll just re-edit it. Need to restore delete warning. Need to delete the restore warning when deleting a prompt. No delete warning. Save, assign to myself. This is a bug. Need to restore the prompt for user to confirm deleting a prompt out of history or favorites. All right. I think the next big thing that I wanted to do is I want to go through and fix this formatting stuff. I think I want to do a custom parser that will strip out H tags, and all we're going to do is, because I'm fine with this bold stuff, I think that all we really need to support is bold, bullet points, bold bullet points, all right, let me see here. Let's get this. What did it? Oh my God, what did it do that for? Get status, get fetch, all, get pull, all. I can't believe it did this. This like literally makes no sense why it's doubling up on buttons now. Let me go see what it changed here. It put this into the prompt card. Okay. Prompt card. I'm just looking for where this trash stuff is. Delete. On delete. Trash. Trigger text trash 2. What is going on? Why is inside of this confirm? Oh my God, what is going on? Alert triangle. I don't need this alert triangle. All right, delete. Tell me a joke, which is always the same joke, which is so concerning. And let's save this. Tell me 8 jokes. And when we look here, it's funny, it does format it correctly here. It just doesn't format it correctly in the editor. I think there's something else that I want to do, which is more of a. All right, I think this is closed now. This should. We should be able to add. Okay, cool. So that's not working yet again. And we delete this. Oh my God! How do we go from something working to it completely not working anymore? Huh. Something's wrong here. Failed alert server respond. Oh, I know what. Did my server go down? No. Gateway timeout. I've never seen this before. What is causing this error? All right, maybe the server just like died for some weird reason. So let's just restart the container and we'll see if that fixes the problem. All right, let's refresh this now. There we go, we're back in business. The code server doesn't want to load up. What is going on with my test server today? Is there an error or something that I'm missing? Okay. Airwall extension server. Airwall installing extension. Server 503. Is Code's server not working? I notice this problem sometime. Nothing else is running right now. Let me see. I'm just looking for a quick test that I can. Sure, let's just run this one. Also, why is the icon different? Yeah, all right. Error while installing extensions. Server 503. So that's an interesting little issue, and this is independent of first off, this should be Lovable app should be a red heart. So I don't know why this. I don't know what's going on my server. Whoa. A whole bunch of stuff seems to be breaking on my. Let me do this. Parsec. Let me go look into my NAS and see what's going on. Maybe I'm going to try to restart Docker. Just trying to take a look on Docker if something has stopped running, but it's still running. Let's do Docker down, Docker compose down. Yeah, I know. Everything's going to fail now. Docker compose up D. All right, we'll bring back up all of the Docker containers. And now Lovable, let me restart this one more time and see if I can get this to work. If not, I'll just move back over to Lovable, but I don't know why my own dev environment decided it's not going to work anymore. It seems like there's something with, it's trying to install the plugins for Visual Studio Code, and it just was hitting this 503, and that's breaking my dev environment. So something went down. Because the irony is that the app works fine. It's just Code Studio doesn't want to work. Why is this not working? Whoa. It's only this icon which was working perfectly fine before. Save. I wonder if something just got corrupted. Hey, look, my icons are going away. Let's go here. I've been using this new, what's it called? Mammoth. I signed up for this new thing because it uses a whole bunch of different AI APIs, so I'm trying to figure out which one I want to use, but you know why I am getting a 503 error setting up my code server. And is there a way to recover if the plugins do not load without breaking code server? Just trying to see where these problems were. Let me put this in here. And where is my Terraform template for Lovable? Well, this is a new one. Oh wait, who's it? It always defaults. I don't like that it defaults to this one, but plugins are the specifically mentions the issue with installing extensions is just potential cause of servers. Extensions listed are not compatible. Analysis of the Terraform configures the provider. Says of the code module, the code or agent, the module. Given the information, the potential identifier, let's modify the Terraform configuration to make it more robust. We'll focus on try reducing the number of extensions or using a more lenient version. Okay. Ugh. Amazing. Fine. You know what? I'm just going to modify the template at this point. Source code, edit. Where was my array of extensions? All right, build. Ugh, I don't even know what version I was on. V30, 40, 50, 63. Sure, you're now 63. All right, workspace, Lovable. This. Whoa, this is so weirdly broken. Oh no, wait, I think I edited the wrong template is the problem. I think I edited the node one. I shouldn't have done that. It's fine, I can always go back. If you're just tuning in, I've somehow broken my own dev environment because it doesn't want to automatically install the Visual Studio Code plugins. So I'm just trying to fix this so I can get back to actually coding because my app's working, but my Code Studio is not. Let's do this. Can I just comment this out? Which is probably a smarter move. Whoops, I just hit the wrong key. All right, let's comment these out. We're in build V22, so I need to do build v23. v23, publish. And now let's go back to the workspace. And let's update this, and this should reset the dev environment. So this is a software called Coder, and it basically manages Docker instances and dev environments using Terraform. And I run it on my own server so that I can have my own development environment wherever I go. I think something must have just happened with that plugin where it's no longer available. Which is weird. Let's just duplicate this. We'll do this, and here we are, back into the swing of things. And you should now reboot, and we're good to go. Okay. Git status. What was I working on now? Git add. Oh, I wanted to figure out also, where is the prompt card? There were all these like weird polygon points. What the hell is this thing? Why is it using like, why does it mix icons and this icon is copy? So why doesn't it give me, is there no like star? I guess maybe you can't give star. Which key is my, there we go. 18 slash this. All right, let's get rid of this stupid SVG thing. And then can I do class equals color dash red? Oh, yeah, it doesn't, it's not going to let me do inline. That's weird. It's not going to let me do inline Tailwind styles, but that's fine. Danger. This is so stupid, the way that Lovable implemented this whole thing. All right, I need to go back here and see where there was the condition. Fill yellow. I wonder if that works. Oops, I need to, let's do this. Ooh, that's weird. It actually does fill it. Color yellow? Interesting. So I could do a fill. So, I guess this is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I don't like this vector thing, but I don't like that outline either. So I guess this is where I'm at. All right, so here's what we can do. All we need to do now is just add this class thing here. Remove this SVG. And now we have whether the button is favorited or not favorited. All right. Now what I want to figure out is what the hell is it doing with the spacing between all of these. Muted foreground, temp timestamp. All right. So, whoops, doesn't like that. Title for card. Currently the date. I'm just trying to give myself some notes in the code because I have no idea. I'll keep forgetting what this stuff does. And then this right here is going to be the card action buttons. So we have why are these like everything is like a different weird style. Link outline. What are the other options? Default, destructive, ghost, link outline. See what the default looks like. That's default. All right, we'll just go back to ghost. But there's a weird padding here that doesn't need to exist. And what I'm trying to figure out is which one of these buttons actually... Yeah, I'm like so confused why some of these star, class, prompt, fine, size, fine. I have no clue why some of these buttons are not equidistant to each other. And it's weird because it looks like it's something in this button. Yeah, I don't know what is the deal here, but we'll just leave it as this for right now. All right, so we have the copy button, we have the star button, and the delete, which I wanted to see if the delete one's in here, and we should make this button danger, destructive. All right, so here's, this one should be ghost. And look, that doesn't fix its thing either, unless here, this is probably what it is. No. Oh, it's so weird. Wait, what am I undoing here? Whoops, stop that. This gap, let me make this 10 so I can see where the gap is getting created. Yeah, gap's being ignored. Yeah, look at how it's so weird how it is offset like that. Always a problem, huh? All right, well, at least we got this. We can star. I can come back through. I can delete this. It sends me back here to the prompt editor. And now I want to, I think I'm going to stop for the day. I got a ton of stuff I need to do, and I made a little bit of progress here. Let me just save my changes. Git status, git add all, git commit cleaning prompt card, action buttons. All right, push this back there, and let me just see if these changes have come through. Actually, we'll do one more thing before I call it a day. I want to fix the I really want to fix the editor. Oh my God, Lovable's taking its sweet time, huh? Refactor. Prompt editor. 2. Parse any text that is sent to it or pasted in to strip out Markdown and reformat in a clean way that the editor can display natively. The editor should only support bold, bullet, bold, bullet, /number, lists, links, and code. Right? What else would this need to support here? Because I want to keep it simple. If I go back here to the issue editor, create a new issue, it has quote, link. We don't need quote, that's for sure. Unordered list, numbered list, task list. We don't need a task list. Mention, reference. Yeah, all I really want is a bold, code, link, and these. All right. And code blocks. Headings. If Markdown with headings is sent to the editor, they should be converted to bold and strip out any unsupported formatting. All right, let's see if we can do this right now. So basically what I'm looking for is like the bare minimum support for formatting. And only because I don't, like, when you're cleaning up prompts, it doesn't really matter what the formatting is. That's more visual for you. So what I'm trying to do is get this to a place where list the 8 wonders of the world. So we'll have it clean up. And you see it's giving us this stuff here. Excuse me. So what it needs to do is, it's funny, it's not giving it to me as a ordered list. Also, this is the second time I've noticed this error. If editing a prompt, issue not saving cleaned prompt in local storage. Noticing there is an issue where if you submit a prompt to be cleaned and the new prompt is displayed, refreshing the page or going to another page and back, the editor restores the original prompt and is not actually saving the contents of the prompt editor, bug create, and here we go. All right, let's do this. We're going to try to fix it. Let's see if this actually works. All right, so I'm using this thing called TipTap Editor, which is actually a pretty interesting editor, and I'm going to implement it in another project I'm working on. It just has like a very weird setup because you have to actually register with them in order to use the more advanced free features. So I was having a lot of trouble getting Lovable to integrate it originally. Let's see here. So it isn't doing anything that I asked it to do. It's definitely keeping... Okay, now you need to clean up the text that's entered into the editor to only and reapply the correct styling. For example, this text which I copied in was not formatted correctly. I'm only seeing raw markdown when I should see the correct bolding. All right, so let's do this. We'll copy this text as a point of reference. And then the other one I want to do is where it should look like this. Although I'm hoping it doesn't get really confused by that. All right, let's see. All right, you can say it's going to properly convert the markdown syntax into HTML that the editor can properly display. Great. All right, this is the last thing I'm doing because I got so much other work I need to do today, and I did make a good amount of progress on this today. I do love this effect, and it's just, I just need to tie in, I need to come up with some themes so that when each of these colors has offset colors, and then yeah, I think I'm getting close to being done. Like, I just need to, I think outside of all these little bugs and stuff I'm finding, the only things that I really need to do is I need to tighten up this animation stuff. I need to clean up these buttons at the top. I don't know, something about them, it irks me, and it's only more noticeable as it's on this background. And then I need to just implement the template stuff, and then I think that's like the broad strokes of what needs to happen. Although I am remembering something else. I need to. Why is it? Look, even this thing has its own problems. It's like giving me back text from before. Need to add cost per token to settings. Changing the cost per token should be reflected in the prompt editor cost calculation. Add a small I info pop-up next to cost in the prompt editor, telling the user they can change this in the settings. Sure, why not? I don't know why it just continues to like make every new prompt the same text, but whatever. All right, do a couple more tests here, and then I'm going to wrap this up at 11:30. All right, let's get rid of this. And what we'll do is we'll copy this example into here, which I can already tell is just not working. All right. Looks like it didn't correctly implement this marked library. Come on. I think my problem is I hate this. This background is not my like the orangish background is not my favorite. I do like these yellow. I like. Wait, what the hell just happened here? I guess I decided to save that prompt. If I do this, oh, hey, look, it's actually working now. Interesting. Give me a markdown example text with header, bold, italic, ordered, and ordered, unordered, code, inline and block, and link. For each example, give it a title so I know which one is which. Something broke here earlier. Oh wait, I see why. This is still breaking. But we got closer. I think that was the most promising preview I've seen yet. Alright, updated markdown parse down fix. Ugh. Come on with these errors. Yeah, and whatever these errors are is now breaking this, but we did make some progress here. Because I think, even though we're getting these errors, if I paste this stuff in, it's still looking a lot better than it did before. Wonder if it supports ordered lists. Oh, this is fun to do by hand. All right. Oh my God, these errors are still. Well, these don't work. That works. Are these still the same issues? Hmm. Yeah, it's all right. If I think I'm going to end it after this. Let's just see if this actually does something. If it's not working, I'll just go into it later and fix it by hand because I see Lovables having a mood where it doesn't want to. Nope, nope. Right back to the same errors. And I don't know how it broke my. Wow. Oh my God, what is it doing? It's just breaking everything. Like it just changed the UI. It got rid of the copy button. Ugh. Yeah, I've like run out of patience. All right. I don't think anything was. I think it's just going to keep going through these loops. Uh, and I don't know why. But I'm going to have to just go back through. I wonder how many tokens I've eaten today. Or credits. All right. Let's give this last one a try, and then I'm going to call it a day and go move on to the other work that I need to do. Nope. It continues to do... Alright, I'll just deal with this myself later. I need you to restore the copy button in the editor and re-enable the clean button, which no longer works. All right, let me see if I can get around this one error. This is, I guess, where it becomes like addicting, where you're just like, all right, let me try one more thing. Just staring off into space. Ah. Come on. You can do it. All right. The clean button is not going to work. Oh, wait. Maybe it will. Maybe it's just... let me see if I can actually get this to work. I think those type issues are more of a TypeScript problem than a code breaking problem. Although it is failing to clean the text, but all right. Let me see if it'll actually return something. Yeah, it's not cleaning this stuff correctly. I wonder if I copy this and paste it back in. No, it broke again. Because now it should be like this. Although it's sort of broken because it's being stripped out. Yeah, I need to go and focus on this another time. So, all right. For those of you still watching, thanks, appreciate it, and I will be back tomorrow. I'll do some more streaming tomorrow at 9, and it's Switch Day, Switch 2 Day. So I have to also go and try to get some Switches for my boys. So take care, and speak to you tomorrow.